Right now, it's just gone 5 minutes past 5 here on Triple R. I'm very happy to welcome a kind of jet-lagged Martin from Purple Sneakers. How are you, buddy?
Very well, thanks a lot, Richard.
Pleasure to have you here. I'm glad you've flown in from London, especially for this interview. I feel special.
I literally did. I've just gotten off the plane a couple of hours ago. I've been living in London, and I've actually come down to play in Melbourne for the next 3 weeks or so before I duck back to London.
Nice one. Give us a bit of history of Purple Sneakers. Did it start in your brain many moons ago?
Actually, it was sort of like an excuse, really, to start a record label. Like I actually, I was living in London for 3 years from 2002 to 2005, and then I was on the wrong visa, so I couldn't start a record label over there. So I thought, bugger it, I'll just come to Australia and start a label here. And I didn't really know how to do it or fund it, and the only thing I knew how to do was DJ and run a club. So I thought, well, how about we do this like idea where we fund the record label with tickets that we sell at the club, and so all of that was kind of like a bit of Robin Hood type stuff going on.
Yeah.
And the clubs went well, and the label, it didn't do that well. Or
nobody cares about buying records.
Yeah, but you do it because you love it, and we released a couple of records and stuff. But since basically we've just been doing like compilations and stuff, and Purple Sneakers became quite a popular thing or club up in Sydney. But we've been touring nationally as DJs like for years now, playing like Falls and Parklife and Splendor and our own national tours and around the releases and compilations. And we've got a compilation out, I think this week. I don't do that stuff these days, so I think it's out this week or next week, and it features
I reckon it's out this week.
Is it? All right.
I'll just put that out there.
Yeah. All right. Good. I'm glad
Probably
you know.
Incorrect.
You read the presser, but and yeah, we were playing at Parklife last year, and one of the guys down here that runs clubs said to us, "Oh my God, this is really great! Like we need to do this in Melbourne." Because I guess essentially it's like we do a party thing, but it's all based around kind of credible indie, quote unquote, indie music. It's kind of hard. That thing's very broad these days, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's really centered around kind of like a house party, but with like a music you'd sort of hear on a station like Triple J, for example.
We don't say Triple J here.
I meant to say Triple R. I'm so sorry. I was looking at you thinking Triple R, but anyway.
What is that letter all about?
I'm so sorry. And it's like a house party, but with kind of credible party music, and the DJs can actually mix, and that's, I guess, the bottom line. And in Melbourne, we're lucky enough to have 2 rooms. There's one's like a back party room, and the other one's more like a sort of like a shoegazing kind of train spotting kind of room where you get to, for DJs that don't mix,
right? I
guess.
Yeah, slackers. Did you have to arm wrestle over any of the song selection?
Actually, yes. There was a lot of toing and froing, not between the DJs as much because, well, especially I got to choose my own tracks. It was more arm wrestling with the labels. And the licensing process was quite tough, especially the mixing process. Like some of the bigger labels, we won't mention, but they're majors, dictate that you can only mix like 20 seconds worth of a song into the next song. And that makes it really tough. When you're actually a good DJ, you do want to mash it up a lot more and connect the tracks in the way you would in a club. So unfortunately, some of the tracks aren't mixed as mashed up as much as we would usually do in a club. So, but at the same time, the ones that came out through like independent labels, they let us do whatever we want. So they're awesome. So we actually went with more of those than we did with the ones on the bigger labels. So it was kind of an interesting process. And I think by the time the next compilation comes out, I think the labels will have probably changed their mind and will say, do whatever you want with the tracks.
They'll probably all be shut down by then and out of business.
Probably. But it's like the idea of being, I kind of hate that term indie DJ because it sort of it sort of conjures up ideas of like people, not mixing and just crossfading and letting 5-minute tracks play out, and that's not really what we do. We pretty much we mash up and edit and cut and paste the tracks and stuff. So and we do that in our own sets as well. It's so kind of hopefully the idea is that you come to the club and you see what you generally call indie music being played in a real proper club style.
I've got an interesting question for you. I had the Yacht Club DJs on the show a month or two back. They did a mix, and it was a hilarious and beautiful moment in Triple R's history. And I happened to be chatting to a Sydney DJ Identity, and he had a full-on go at me and about the Yacht Club DJs and said they were evil and destroying opportunities for real DJs that deserve to get paid, and that there was something about Yacht Club DJs that was kind of a sham or a joke.
That's not true. They're buddies of ours, actually. They're really good friends of ours. In fact, they've been playing Purple Sneakers in Sydney from the very start. And are
we going to have some kind of all-in wrestling brawl between DJs coming soon? Is it bubbling under the surface?
Well, if anything, it'll probably be like Purple Sneakers and Yacht Club versus everybody else in that case. But
right.
No, I don't know. I don't see why there should be any bitching. I mean, I think DJs should have to justify their existence anyway, because it's essentially... I know some DJs may get pissed off at me about this, but I really think you actually have to be taking DJing to that next level to actually be called a DJ, rather than just like spinning discs. In crossfading, that's kind of crap and unjustifiable. And there are DJs out there who are, and regardless of how you do it, doesn't matter how you do it. If you can justify what you're doing on a dance floor and the people like you, then in that case, book away. I kind of I don't think there's any reason to argue. I just think DJs should be pushing each other to do bigger and better things.
When I've seen Yacht Club or Purple Sneakers at festivals, at the Parklife or whatever, like it always goes down great with the crowd. Do you sit and kind of think a lot about the show and what element you're going to do to be able to compete with all the bands?
Yeah, I guess, especially at the festivals. I mean... we've got this thing called a Decktar, which we made specifically for...
That sounds a bit 80s.
Yeah, well, it's this CDJ stuck on a guitar neck that you can actually play whilst walking around the stage and, rocking out rock style, but you're actually playing a CDJ like you would in a normal DJ set. And that's actually a fourth... because when we play on 3 or 4 CDJs, however, that doesn't I don't think that compares to the old the rubber dinghy that the Yacht Club guys are fans of. So yeah. But it's, I guess the DJs fulfill their part of things, and in a club environment, obviously you like things to flow a lot more. So in those sort of environments, actually, bands can actually be a hindrance. But at a festival environment, it's sort of the other way around. It's and there's been recently a kind of argument that I think Jamie Doom put forward. There's been a stoush between what's that band that sometimes Miami Horror.
Miami Horror.
Yeah. There's been like a stoush between Miami Horror and Jamie Doom from Bang Gang, and he does have a point in that sometimes that actually bands are really rude and they sound check over the DJs, and like at festivals DJs get treated like second-rate citizens.
Yeah.
I don't know where this conversation's going, but
we obviously need a union to regulate it or something. Bit of the Purple Sneakers mix CD there. We Mix You Dance. We've been chatting to Martin in the studio. The record is out next week and features a whole heap of great bands, including stuff that you heard alongside Vampire Weekend, Two Door Cinema Club, Phoenix, Mike Snow, Friendly Fires, Sia, and loads more. Now, Martin, I reckon we may have inspired a few people to go out dancing on Friday. Now, you're DJing with Dappled as well as doing your own show. You're going to have a busy night.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty fun night.
Nice one. Thanks for coming in. We've been chatting to Purple Sneakers.